Trapmore gang. I just dropped a crazy video on David, and I touched on one of his most bizarre and self-snitching interviews of his whole career. Now, this video that I just dropped, okay, not too long ago, it's all about this insane cult that some people think David is a part of it. And I thought there was absolutely no merit to it until I looked into it. But there's been some weird stuff going on with this video since I uploaded it. It keeps getting... Something weird's going on with this video, okay? So I'm making this follow-up video because I want to touch on something. Because if that video doesn't stay up, there is something that I found right at the end of that video that is absolutely crazy. And I want to touch on it in this standalone video just to preserve this information and make you guys aware of what is probably the most flagrant example of self-snitching that I've ever seen from David. And he, in the first time in an interview, all right, is seemingly addressing Celeste. Not directly, but if you know the law, you'll know that there is an interlude on one of his albums, The Invisible String Theory, where a lot of people believe that that is actually Celeste's voice on the snippet. Okay, people believe it's her voice. I can't play it to you for copyright reasons, ironically. Okay, but there is an interview. Okay, this interview right here. I'm gonna play you the entire interview. Okay, this interview, and there's a whole bunch of clips and snippets. This is from the Tape Notes podcast. Okay. I said in my previous video, and that video might get taken down based on some of the things that are going on behind the scenes, but I said in that previous video, I need people to go and download this interview because this interview has got some very, very dark references in it. I think David's talking about Celeste, and I think this interview likely was recorded or at least put out during a period when Celeste was no longer alive. Now, there was talk about her being killed in spring of 2025. SF Investigates is talking about she wasn't seen after January the 2nd, 2025. Now, this is May 25th, 2025. It's likely, possibly, it is likely, in some people's opinion, that Celeste was not alive when this interview was recorded. It's also likely, okay, that the girl on this Invisible String Theory interlude is Celeste, okay? And in this song, they basically go back and forth. She says, so I got a question. Why don't you hold my hand anymore? I'm so serious. I haven't held your hand in ages. And then they basically go on to say, have you heard of the Invisible String Theory? It meant we were supposed to meet. Okay, I loved you before I existed, and I'll love you even when I die. Okay, this is creepy as hell. And people are in the comments on Genius talking about, yo, do we know who that girl is? I always thought the girl was Caliucci's, but it's definitely Celeste. That's what people think, okay? And if you go to the song on YouTube, all right, this is inexplicably still up. Don't want to play it just in case, but people are saying the rabbit hole gets deeper. This is literally her voice, bro. There's a live stream of her talking with him. Now, the reason I'm making this second video, talking about this interview, is because David talks about this interlude, and he talks about the person on the song in this interview, and the way he reacts when this comes up is so chilling. So look, I just want to play this to you. Okay, I'm making a separate video about this because it's just crazy. All right, but check
he's basically like the evil version of me, and he's kind of garnered this cult that follows after him. And in the One More Dance music video, you follow two of the cult members, and they're going around with me in the trunk to bury me after I died.
So look, bruh, if you go back and watch the video that I did earlier today, if it's still up, I basically break down this whole theory that there's actually this crazed cult. I don't even want to say too much, okay? He's in this interview talking about that footage of the body being put in the, body being put in the trunk by Dave. David's dragging a body, it gets put in a trunk. He's found with the remains of a child in his own trunk. The trunk, how are you doing? How are you even broadcasting this, bro? This is insane. So he basically opens up later in this interview about not only this symbology of his Itami character, which is basically an alter ego that he's invented. It's the Japanese word for pain is Itami. But he starts talking about who that person is. Look, when I show you this, you're going to lose your mind.
So there's an
voice at the end. At the end.
Oh, yes.
The voice at the end.
Oh, yes. The added voicemail. So there's an extra layer that I added throughout the album where you hear like little voice bites and things like that. Cannot disclose who the voice is because of copyright. But
what is wrong with this freak? What is wrong with this man? He's talking about Celeste. He's in the interview, and just look how weirdly he behaves when this comes up, bro. This is so weird. I'm going to slow it down.
Add the Oh,
They say
the
there's a voice at the
yes, the
he's awkward. He's like, the voice. He's thinking about how am I going to answer this question. Who is the voice?
added voicemail. So there's an extra layer that I
See his head movements. He's overdoing it. He's on the ropes. He knows he shouldn't be talking about this. He knows he has to be very careful. To me, that's a tick. It's a tick. It's a tell. Okay, it's a tell. He's trying to think how he can sort of finesse his way out of this situation. He knows he shouldn't be talking about this, and he's got to be very careful.
added throughout the album, where you hear like little voice bites and things like that. Cannot disclose who the voice is because copyright. But
What's wrong with this dude, man? The way his face changes, this is a psychopath, all right? The way his face changes, he's looking away. Look, I'm going to get on my JCS criminal psychology right now, okay? Notice when the voice comes up, when he brings up, there's another voice on the album. He's no eye contact. He's looking away. He can't even look at the person he's talking to.
the added voicemail. So there's an extra layer that I
And when he looks, it's like he's got a little tick.
added throughout the album, where you hear like little voice bites and things like that. Cannot disclose who the voice is because copyright.
Is that really why? Is that really why you can't disclose the voice?
But just sound bites.
Cannot disclose who the voice is because of copyright. That's not how copyright works, buddy. What do you mean copyright? It's cap. It's a load of cap.
And things to add an extra layer of authenticity and storytelling to the project. And there's an interlude as well.
He keeps breaking eye contact. He keeps looking away. He keeps looking at his phone. He's looking away from the interviewer. He's on the ropes.
A main motif of the album is the invisible
His voice is cracking, a main motif for the album.
project, and there's an interlude as well. A main motif of the album is the invisible string theory, the Korean ideology of the invisible string theory. And I have this alter ego called Itami, which means pain in Japanese, where everybody's connected from this invisible life force that connects you to either your soulmate or friends you meet or people you encounter in your life. And I flipped that for this story, as in
He looks like he's kind of going one word at a time. He's just thinking, he's babbling. He's waffling. He doesn't really know where he should take this conversation. He's talking in circles. He's trying to talk away. He's yapping. He's just trying to talk around in circles and basically move the interviewer away from what's really being asked. He said, who's that person on the voice? Who's that person on the voice note on the album? He's got, I actually thought my Tommy character, and I can't actually say because of copyright reasons, I'm doing some weird face. I'm literally so scared of confronting this in my normal persona. I have to slip into some kind of character. I have to behave like I'm somebody else because I can't confront the fact that I'm talking about somebody who's dead.
everybody is connected to Itami, my alter ego, who is like the agent of chaos in my entire aesthetic. You see him in various music videos. He'll pop up, and he's basically like the evil version of me. And he's kind of garnered this cult that followed after him. And in the One More Dance music video, you follow a relationship of two of the cult members, and they're going around with me in the trunk to bury me after I died.
So again, he's talking about cult members, right? And if you check the last video that I did, if it's still up, okay, you'll be able to learn about all this cult member stuff going on, all right? I don't want to get into it in this video, but it's crazy. The fact he's even talking about cult members on this is wild.
And they're just like wreaking havoc on the city. And that was the kind of cool piece.
Again, his voice keeps cracking in this. Wreaking havoc.
Members, and they're going around with me in the trunk to bury me after I died. And they're just like wreaking havoc on the city.
They're going around with his body in the trunk to bury him after they died. I just don't think he's that creative. I feel like this is just based on stuff that really happened, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, that's just what it seems like, okay? That's just how it seems.
And that was the kind of cool piece to show just the layers that I have to this lore and this world.
To this lore, the layers that I have to this lore. It's lore? You sure it's not autobiographical?
World building that I'm doing leading up to this album. So yeah. I've been working on it for years too. So it's kind of amazing to see it come to fruition in music. Yeah.
He's been working on this for years. It's amazing to see it come to fruition in music.
So these bigger ideas, these conceptual pieces, It was always going to be part of what you were going to do.
Yeah, I mean, when I wrote Atami into just like existence, it was originally for a manga because I'm big into anime and stuff like that. So I was gonna make a comic book and a manga, and I just like had it in the vault for a long time. And then once the music started, I made the Romantic Homicide music video, and I was like, this is where we have to birth them. I feel like because it's a huge opportunity to
He made the Romantic Homicide video. He's saying that's the start of the story. And this is where the story gets, this is where the person gets killed and buried, the Atami character in the David universe. Romantic Homicide music video came out on Celeste's birthday, man. This is all twisted, right? This is all messed up. But you can't talk about who that is for copyright reasons. That's not how copyright works, bro. You're capping.
capitalize on something that I had for many years and didn't have a place for, but the music was doing so well and I didn't
Listen to what he's saying. It's a metaphor.
them, I feel like, because it's a huge opportunity to capitalize on something that I had for many years and didn't
He had to bury them. It's a huge opportunity to capitalize on something he had for many years.
have a
and
place for.
Didn't have a place for. Something he had for many years and didn't have a place for. What do you think he's talking about? This is a metaphor.
But the music was doing so well and I didn't do a music video yet. It was so cool to kind of be able to express that finally, and it stuck with the fans and it stuck with me, so he's here to stay.
When we listen to the album, is there a story? Is there a through line?
There
from
is
start to
definitely a
finish?
through line from start
Yeah,
to finish,
yeah.
and the
Yeah.
great thing about that is I'm actually doing a merch piece, not a merch piece, but like I did a journal where I documented the behind the scenes of every song and the motivations and the backstories
The behind the scenes. He documented the behind the scenes of every song and the motivations behind every song. There's interludes on the album that people think that include the girl who is found dead in your trunk, bro. The grand jury gonna need to see this journal. You was gonna sell it as merch, bro. This is the most flagrant self-snitching I've ever seen.
behind each track in detail, which is going to be released very, very soon.
That little smirk.
Backstories behind each track in detail, which is
That's just, bro. He's a demon. That little smirk. That little smirkio. Hang on a sec. I'm pressing the wrong button now. That little smirkio.
and it kind of goes into the background behind the voicemail detail, which is going to be released very, very soon. And it kind of goes into the background behind the voice in detail of every song and the motivations and the backstories behind each track in detail, which is
Just that little smirk. His emotions just change on a dime. He talks about, he's going to talk about it in detail. Boom. He can't help himself. He's smiling. Wait, no, I'm just stone faced again. So, like, this guy's facial expressions are so weird.
which is going to be released very, very soon. And it kind of goes into the background behind the voicemails and also
It goes into the background behind the voicemails. I would like to see this journal.
the interlude where I'm having the conversation about the invisible string theory and all that kind of stuff. So it's all going to be like contextualized in the future.
It's all going to be contextualized. I need to see that journal. I'm not going to lie. So look, I'm going to wrap it up there. I just wanted to make this video to just preserve this interview that I thought was absolutely wild. It sounds to me like he's talking about Celeste. That's my opinion. All right. It's no more than my opinion. Okay. But it sounds, in my opinion, like he's talking about Celeste. It seems like a lot of other people out there in the public, they think that that's Celeste's voice on the interlude. You can't tell us who it is, of course, because of copyright reasons. That's not how copyright works. But yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video to preserve this. If the other video that I did about the cult gets taken down, it's been demonetized and remonetized like 3 times, 2 times, 2-3 times. I don't know. I keep going on, and then it's demonetized, and it's remonetized, and it's demonetized, and then like I took it down, and then I was gonna re-upload it, and then like it changed back. I don't know. Okay, so I'm making a separate video. I don't want this information to slip through the net. Let me know what you guys think below. I think this interview is dark, and I think you should download this interview because I don't know what's going to happen with this one. This one's crazy. I'm not going to lie. This one's crazy. And if, you know what I'm saying, LAPD Robbery Homicide Division, you might want to go download this. You might want to download this one too. That's just my thoughts. All right. I'm going to do a quick 21 Savage interview, and then I'm going to get on to some other stuff. I'll be back tomorrow. I appreciate you guys, man.